Hey friends, it's me, CGS, back with the video that I promised, the fourth in the series, introducing this latest PRS SE Custom 24. And it's the video where I'm going to compare it to, first of all, my old faithful SE Torero, and also what I consider to be the best of the fake Chinese copies I ever bought, Tiger. So, that coming up in this video. Before we get started, it's important to point out a couple of things. Although they are all allegedly PRS branded guitars, other than the fake, which is a fake of PRS, the SE Custom 24 is a non-locking trem, and it's got the Korean reissue 8515s. And the Torero is a Floyd Rose bridge, unlike the other two, and it's also got a Floyd Rose locking tuner, and also it's got EMG active pickups in it. It's also got a really nice neck joint at the back here, and there's the active. So we're not really comparing apples with apples here, because this is a very different guitar. The other two should be a relatively similar comparison. The other thing to note is that this and the fake do not have the coil taps, whereas the new guitar, the SE24, does. And the other thing to note is that this guitar is very much a rock beast. These pickups are a lot hotter than the 8515s, or not that much hotter than the Entwistle HDNs, the neodymium. I really like these pickups, and I've put them in a couple of guitars. So this guitar's quite hot as well, whereas this one's got a beautiful tone to it. But anyway, I'm going to do the same riff on each guitar and let you have a listen. And I'm going to compare exactly the same riff. It could get a little boring, but I'm going to try and go through that as quickly as I can and just give you exactly the same riff on all three guitars, on all the settings and on all of the volume controls, to give you that dynamic range of the guitar tones that you can get, particularly out of this, which I love. So we'll start with this. Okay, everything is going through the orange Dark Terror into the Harley Benton Vintage 212, and I'm only using one speaker, so it's running in 16 ohms out of the back of the 16 ohm of the amp. We've got the volume at pretty much 1, the tone at 12 o'clock, and the gain around 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock. So I'm going to start on each guitar with the neck pickup and a quiet tone, and then I'm going to work my way through the halfway point on the pot, the volume pot, and then the full volume pot with exactly the same riff. So here we go. So there it is. That's the three guitars compared across all the pickups. You'll notice with these HDNs, they are really, really high output, and they're not far off comparable to the MGs. In terms of weight, this is by far the lightest, followed by the new Custom 24, which I reckoned to be about the same, but actually this is very marginally, just a hair, heavier than the Chinese fake. They're all purport to be mahogany body with a maple top. Obviously that's got the maple fretboard. These two have got, well, this is fake ebony and that's meant to be ebony or dark rosewood at least. This is way, way heavier. This probably weighs as much as the other two together. And I guess that's, I don't know why that is. It's because they're all purport to be mahogany. This is very much thinner. Looking at the two together, the Custom 24 and the fake, you'll notice that the headstock on the fake is much longer than the SE series. You'll notice that the body is a lot thicker on the SE than it is on the fake. You'll notice that the cutaway is very different. This is a much shallower, this is a much steeper cutaway. And the actual shape of the guitar is not far off, but when you look at the back, you can see that these horns are much more rounded on the SE, whereas on the fake, they're squared right off. And the only thing I would say is that the carve is very similar indeed. So perhaps that's a Far Eastern carve type affair. I think overall, well, you let me know what you think overall, but I'm very, very impressed with the latest addition to the family. It was a pleasure to get the Torero out again because I love playing that, and it's nice to play Tiger once in a while, but this, in terms of versatility, the fact that there's the coil tap, the fact that when it goes down to the low end of the volume that there's so much clean tone that can be had out of it, and yet it still screams at full volume, this to me is by far and away the most versatile of the instruments. And I really do think that this is incredibly good value for money. Is it £500 to £600 UK pounds, which is about $600 US, more than this? That's something that I'm going to leave to your discretion, because you know that I don't agree with the fake trade. This and the Torero both came out of storage today and haven't been played since before we moved, and that is over 2 years ago. They both had exactly the same set of strings on. Admittedly, I believe that these strings had been changed sooner or more recently than the Torero strings, but they're both quite bright still, and as such, I think this is a fair comparison test because I've been playing this one for a week or so now, and I'm guessing that both of these had about a week or so's worth of play on them. So really, folks, just very, very keen to know what you think. Hope you've enjoyed this last of the 4 in the series introducing this guitar. We're going to see much, much more of this. I'm really pleased with this guitar, really, really enjoying it, and I can thoroughly recommend the PRS SE to anybody. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll be back really soon with another video. In the meantime, take good care.